No, you didn't read the thumbnail wrong. Could the Detroit Lions be destined for the Super Bowl? Hello, everyone. My name is Derek, and welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate. If this is your first time here, we talk all things about the Detroit Lions, and we make videos almost every day, so consider subscribing. We did hit 7,200, trying to get to 8K before the season is over, so consider subscribing. Gonna put this disclaimer out there. Before you start typing in the comments section, listen to the entire video. Don't assume you know what I'm going to talk about or say and get ahead of the conversation. Listen to what I have to say first and then go from there. The Detroit Lions are one of 4 teams to have never appeared in a Super Bowl. We haven't even won the NFC North. And after a 1-6 start to now 6-1 in the last 7 games, with the chance to clinch the playoffs before week 18, shout out to Pride of Detroit, fans are starting to buy in to the Detroit Lions. And this video came from a conversation that I had on my live stream today. It's not a lot of news coming out of Detroit Lions camp. Everything, all the press conferences have been pushed up a day because the game is on Saturday as opposed to Sunday. So this topic intrigued me, and I wanted to see what you guys had to say. The Detroit Lions are one of the hottest teams in the National Football League. One can argue that maybe a few teams are hotter. You would have to say maybe the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers, but the Detroit Lions are right up there. And after a horrible defense in their first 7 games, they've turned it around. Their offense has trailed a little bit, but it's still top 10. And the Detroit Lions defense is now stepping up ever since the Week 8 turnaround. And in my live stream today over on Syndicate Sports Detroit, we had a conversation about, is this the team of destiny? Is this the year that the Detroit Lions could possibly take a Super Bowl? Now, I want to put it out there that the way that I feel about the NFL, I think that they have a narrative. I think all of those things. And I think the Detroit Lions team, that time is coming soon. However, when it comes to this year, I had never given any thought, is this the year of destiny for the Detroit Lions? Now, the first thing is first, we have to handle our business and get in the playoffs. And I do believe that the 6 out of 7 wins have some fans very excited, and they're thinking, hey, what can stop us? This is our year. We say that a lot, but this is our year. And I see where they can come from with the way that we've turned the season around. From Hard Knocks being announced to the NFL draft being in Detroit being the same day, I could see where you would get that kind of feeling from the rough start, and then we come out of nowhere, and we're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. But the way that I see it is the Detroit Lions have to handle business first. They have to get to the playoffs. If they do get to the playoffs, they then would have to go and face the either Minnesota Vikings or San Francisco 49ers on the road. I myself would prefer to face the Minnesota Vikings. I just don't think we match up very well against the 49ers defense, but that's just me. Is it possible? 100%. I totally expect the Lions to win if they get into the playoffs and they face the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not saying, we can look past them or anything like that, but we played them very well, and we seem to really put our best foot forward playing the Minnesota Vikings. We should have beat them at home in week 3, but we all know what happened there. So I think we could go to Minnesota and win that game. Now, if we win and beat the Minnesota Vikings, and then we would have to go and face the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field. I think that matchup is going to be harder than the Minnesota Vikings, but however, you go back and you look at week 1, how they beat us by 3 points. They were a different team, and we were a different team. They're pretty much the same, but we've gotten better. Could we beat them any given Sunday? We could. I would rather play them than the 49ers, but let's just assume that we go into Lincoln Financial and we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That means that will put us into the NFC Championship game. Dallas would have to play Tampa Bay in that first round right now, and then probably the San Francisco 49ers in the second. So let's hypothetically say that the Lions beat Minnesota, they then play Philly, they beat Philly, and then they either have to face the 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys would get to host the NFC Championship game at home. Now, there's a lot of ways you can look at this. From a narrative perspective, yes, it could very well play out like that, because we go back to 2014, the last time the Lions had a really good chance to win a playoff game. We all know what happened there. The pass interference call that was initially called and then reversed, and then the Dallas Cowboys went on to win that game. Let's say we do that. We win all 3 games on the road, and then we go to the Super Bowl. We'll probably face the Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Bills in the Super Bowl this year. We played the Bills pretty tough. As a matter of fact, our only loss in this stretch has been to them by 3 points. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals, we didn't play this year. I understand how people are feeling. Some people are really believing in this team, and I believe as well. But if I have to look at a team perspective and how we match up, I just don't think we match up very well against the 49ers or the Eagles on the road. At home would be I would give us a little bit more of a chance at home. I do realize, however, that it is any given Sunday. It's not about how you played up until that point. It's about how you play that particular day. Can the Lions be the better team that day? They could. But the road that they have to go on in order just to make the Super Bowl would be very akin to the 2000, both Giants teams who won the Super Bowl. We know the Giants in 2007 were the number 6 seed. They went all the way there, and they knocked off the undefeated New England Patriots. They were just a couple of seconds away from having the first undefeated season since the 72 Dolphins. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? I don't expect that. Not this year. I do believe that the Lions' time of domination is coming, probably in the next 2 to 3 years. I fully expect us to win the North coming up very soon. I think Minnesota is just kind of a fluke. I think Green Bay's time is past. Aaron Rodgers will ride off. We will then take over the NFC North. But as far as the Lions being a team of destiny, I can see how you could say that. I mean, not a lot of you guys thought that it was possible to turn the season around from 1-6. We were already talking about Bryce Young, Will Anderson, the draft, and now we're legitimately talking about playoff contention. So I could see how you would kind of get ahead of yourself when it comes to that. And I understand, and I think if that's how you feel, it's okay for you to feel that way. I just don't want to see you guys disappointed if the Lions don't do that. I mean, we still have to make the playoffs. I will say this. If we make the playoffs, I fully expect us to, and I think we have a really good chance to beat the Minnesota Vikings. So I would say we win that game. If we go and we beat the Philadelphia Eagles after how we played them the first week of the season, if we beat them, then I would start to entertain this thing of maybe this is our time. I actually thought of that the other day before I was doing a video. I was like, man, what if the Lions win a playoff game? Something we haven't done in 30 years. Then I was like, man, what if they win another? I said to myself, like, what if they went to the Super Bowl? Because as Lions fans, that's all we have is these what if possibilities. I'm saying that don't set your expectations too high of how far the Lions are going to go. I think, honestly, if we made it to the second round and we were to beat one of those teams, because you got to realize at this point, we would have gone to Minnesota, knocked off the number 2 seed, gone to Philadelphia, knocked off the number 1 seed. At that point, then, yeah, I would say it is a real possibility that we could wind up in the Super Bowl because we're going to play a team that was at the bottom of the playoffs, most likely. I mean, we could play the San Francisco 49ers in Levi Stadium, all road games heading to the Super Bowl. So as we wrap the video up, my expectations are not the Detroit Lions to make the Super Bowl this year. I believe we make it to the playoffs. We face up against the Minnesota Vikings. I think we have a good chance to win that game, and I would pick the Detroit Lions to win their first playoff game in 30 years. I think it ends there. I don't think we will beat the San Francisco 49ers or the Philadelphia Eagles. I think we have a better chance to beat the Eagles than the Niners. The defense that they have is relentless, and I just don't know if we can overcome that on the road. So I'll leave it at that, but I would love to hear your comments in the comments below, and hopefully you listen to this video before you start typing away, the Lions have to win, they're not going to the Super Bowl. Hopefully you listen, you use your power of listening before you made comments. I hope you did. My name is Eric. This is Detroit Lions Syndicate. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel because you want to be here when the Lions make their playoff run and see just how far this thing goes. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself. As always, go Lions.